Okay, now we're going to move on to the item number 2 of the administrative calendar, and that is to approve the staff request to name the Aquatic Center the John H. Furbee Aquatic Center in honor of his significant contribution to the community of Desert Hot Springs. Rudy?
Madam Mayor and members of the council, good evening. Approximately 3 years ago, this council adopted a naming policy for its public parks and facilities. The request before you complies with the structure of that naming policy. There is a letter attached, and for the benefit of the audience and for those watching tonight on television, I'd like to outline the items. Keep in mind that the policy requires one or more. I think I have 7 here that probably justify this request. As you are all aware, communities prosper when they have the good services of good citizens. In this case, few can argue the amount of time and energy and beyond that, the financial and property donations this individual has provided to make this element of the Community Health and Wellness Center a reality. We are nearing completion of the facility. Most likely phase 1 will be completed, I had hoped would have been completed last week, but we didn't get the full cooperation of one of our major utility companies. So that has delayed us until the end of this month. And phase 1 will be completed. We've already talked to the Boys and Girls Club. And then the phase 2 will be on board in November. But having said that, and the reason I mention that is because signage ordering is critical at this point, and I would like to move on with that process. Anyway, as I mentioned, Mr. Furbee has made exceptional contributions to the city of Desert Hot Springs, including gifts of property and donations to organizations serving this community. Mr. Furbee's contributions have community-wide significant to the health and well-being of the citizens and residents of Desert Hot Springs. Mr. Furbee has been a resident of this good city for 43 years. Some especially good news, he's never been convicted of a felony. He has also served this community as a former planning commissioner. He continues to provide service to this community as a member of the following community-based organizations. He is a board member of the Mission Springs Water District. He is a member of the Mission Springs Foundation. He is a member of the Desert Hot Springs Historical Society and a member of the board of directors of the Desert Hot Springs Rotary Club, and you all know how active they are in this community. Mr. Furbee also serves as a board member on the Coachella Valley Boys and Girls Club as well. So those are 7 items I've outlined, and I don't mean to put him on the spot, but I think I will for the record. He said he's not done giving yet. But that's the gist of this request. We hope that you will consider that as a worthy validation for this request, and let us move forward with that, naming the Aquatic Center after Mr. Furbee. And he is in the audience tonight.
Yes, and he has put in a speaker card.
Oh, he has? Okay.
Mr. Furbee?
Oh, we gotta listen. Thank you, Rudy. That was very, very, very nice and considered. John Furbee, Desert Hot Springs for probably 44 years now. And I've been working on this Boys and Girls Club and swimming pool for about 40 years. Everybody has made a big contribution. The council has done a lot to make this happen. And the board of the Boys and Girls Club of Desert Hot Springs and the board of Coachella Valley, the staff of the Boys and Girls Club past, and the present staff of the Coachella Valley Boys and Girls Club, the staff of the city, everybody has a part, and it couldn't have happened without the board of Desert Hospital. But the main person that made all this happen is Rick Daniels. We've been efforting for really 40 years. John Soler and I went all over the country looking at pools, and we never dreamed of anything as nice as we're going to have. The Boys and Girls Club is probably the nicest club in Southern California. I haven't seen them all, but I've seen them all in Coachella Valley. It'll be the prime one. We were all musicians in this orchestra. We all did a lot of work and dedicated a lot of money and a lot of hours to make it happen. But the maestro is Rick, and it would not have happened without him. So anyway, it's a great honor for me, and thank you very much.
Councilman Mattis?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Obviously, this is going to be an easy vote for the City Council, but John, you're true inspiration to this community, the things you've done. I think there's many times you probably could have walked away and retired somewhere else, but you stayed here. You've given to the community over and over and over again, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion by, oh, Mr. Sanchez. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Thank you, Mary Parks. Those are really good words, John, and but I just want to add some clarification. And I have City Manager Rick Daniels help me out here. What was the total cost that the Desert Healthcare District put into this project?
About 5.2 million.
Okay. And the reason I'm going to bring this up is because John's right. It was one big orchestra, and there was many people involved. But at the end of the day, Desert Healthcare District doesn't step up. We don't have this facility. And I remember Mark Matthews was very, he was out there back in 2000. And for them to make that kind of a commitment to the city is major. And I just want to make sure that the Desert Healthcare District is on record as providing those monies to move this project forward. There's a few other people that weren't mentioned, but I want to mention their names. Back in the early days of this project, I was fortunate enough to go with Mayor Matt Way-Euchre to Washington to visit Congressman Lewis to chat with him. And the reason we got to go is because Mary Gibson was very fortunate to make that relationship happen. And I haven't heard her name tonight. And Mary Gibson, if it wasn't for her and her long-standing relationship with Congressman Lewis, he never would have fell out of his chair and said, I'll give $2 million just to start. And he did that because Mary Gibson had the contacts, and she was the one in the forefront. All me and Matt had to do was just go up there and speak to the choir. And he was just saying, I love it, because Mary loves it. And one of the things I really want to see in this project is for us to come back and name something after Mary Gibson. If I had it my way, I would put the name of that swimming pool for Mary Gibson, and I would put John Furbee on the teen center, because he loves the Boys and Girls Club. But, we have to find a way, because Mary's no longer with us, but she made things happen. And I think as we go down, I don't want to see a well named after her, or I don't want to see any kind of a plant named after her. I want to see the community center. She has to have a name on there. And I know in this process, we could always come back, can't we, Rudy, with a designation down the road to add a name if we choose to? Is that a yes? It's up to the council. But there's a process for submitting names, right? So we could follow the same process as we did with John Furbee. Now, wouldn't it be great to have bookends there with Mary Gibson and John Furbee? Wouldn't that send a signal to the community that we have two icons that have been here? I mean, combined, it might be 100 years that they provided to the community. So I'm sure John wouldn't mind at all having both those names there. And also, we got to thank Mary and Ashley also, because Mary and Ashley, did give us the original $300,000 that bought their first plots of land out there to make this project happen. And it wasn't easy for him to make that happen. He had to go find another project that didn't get developed in Riverside County to find that money. And so he really provided the first seed money before everybody else provided any money. But I will admit that John Furbee did provide the foundation, the land that got that foundation started and got it moving. So I wanted to mention those names. And it's Daniels wants his name on something over there at the wellness, and I have a good idea, but I'm going to be kind enough not to say it in public right now. But it's a good one, but I'll bring it back later. But I'm really thinking about Mary Gibson. Let's make it happen for her. Too many years in this community fighting for wellness and for health, and you know, God bless her heart that she couldn't live to see this day, because I would love to have seen her there with Congressman Lewis. Hopefully he comes down to see their vision came true, and it's going to benefit the entire community of Desert Hot Springs. Thank you with that.
Councilman Betts?
John Furbee, I wanted to say thank you for your contributions. The financial contributions are significant. I don't know how many people would just step up and put up that kind of money, but it's made a big difference. And I want to echo Councilman Sanchez's comments that you know, it's obvious there's a lot of people involved in this process, and I don't think you can give any one credit to anybody. That's what happens when a community comes together. I'm sure the people that were figuring out what to do to get this thing going in the first place worked just as hard as anybody else that just happened to be down at the end of the road. We got these overpasses down there as an example. It's great that, you know, we're all sitting there at the ribbon cutting saying, great, look what we did. But those overpasses got started many years ago, just like this wellness center did. So it's a tribute to the entire community that this has gotten done. Certainly the city manager has pulled a lot together on this, and that can't be ignored. So again, John, thank you. It's a very generous contribution you've made.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Will you please vote? Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Furbee, will you come over here, please?
I get the microphone again.
Just to top it off.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Just to top it off, there's a copy of the resolution with my signature, and we were missing one, but we'll get it to you.
Okay.
And this is the resolution showing it's a 5-0 vote.
It's wonderful.
So this is for you to take.
Oh, thank you.
And be a part of your.
Thank
of
you
your-
very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank all of you. It really will be the greatest club in Southern California. It will make a difference in the youth of Desert Hot Springs. It will make a lot of people, instead of criminals, they'll become senators and governors. They'll go to college and get an education, and you know, what this will do, we can't even imagine how much good will come of it. Thank you.
Thank you, John.